to feast like kings.
Okay, here it goes. 3, 2, 1.
What's up guys, how's it going? So this video is just gonna be a nice relaxing one. I'm gonna answer some questions, and I've already spotted a few wild edibles around here which I'm going to talk to you guys about, show you in which ways they are edible, and like I said, answer some questions because you guys have been sending in loads of questions recently. So first question was sent in from John TL, and what he asked is, how did I do that panning like time-lapse in the airport shot while I was coming back from Germany? So if you notice one of the time-lapse shots, it looks like the camera's moving. Now all that is done in post-production. So you can actually do that, achieve that effect with like a slider and like a motor thing, and that's how you'll see those ones where the camera's actually like moving with like foreground and background and stuff. But those are expensive and they're complicated and not easy to take around, and I don't have one, so I just do it in post-production. I just film normal video, try to make it as wide as possible, and then in Sony Vegas there's a feature called pan and crop, and you can take the frame and crop it in and then move it during the video clip. So that's how I do that. No crazy special effects, it's just basically cropping in on the video, so you lose a little bit of quality, but it makes for a cool effect, so like no one's looking at the quality. Okay, there's this little plant over there. I'm gonna go head over there so I can show you guys this and show you what I'm talking about. Let's go. So this plant right behind me, you see right here, has these long green stems that extend out. Well, in the past, I said this plant was called porterweed, and that's very true. But I did some more research, and I found out there's a lot of cool things about this plant. So there's two different types. There's this one, which is the taller one, which can grow to 6, 7 feet, whatever. And this one is normally planted. Now there's a wild one that normally grows 1 to 2 feet off the ground, and that one's a wild one. And I've seen both, but this is the one that I was able to find today. And the flowers are purple and they're actually edible. So you can eat the flowers, and what's really cool is they're supposed to taste like mushrooms. So it's not enough of a mushroom taste that you could like cook these flowers, but if you just kind of maybe take a few of them, eat them, you might taste a slight trace of a mushroom. Maybe. We'll give it a go. I taste it. It's like so subtle, the taste, but it's there. And a few other cool things you can do is you can make tea with the leaves. I actually heard that about 200-300 years ago in London, they were having this tea made from the porterweed plant, and they were like, you know what, how about we add some yeast, some sugar, and ferment, and see what we come up with. And they ended up with semi-beer, semi-tea. It wasn't quite a tea, it wasn't quite a beer. It's right in between. So maybe I'll do some research, try to make my own beer, but I might be a bit young to be making beer. I'd like to tell you guys this quick story, something that happened last night. So I was hanging out at my house on my computer, as you do, just doing stuff, and I heard this noise coming from outside, and I was like, what is that? And I looked over to my dogs, and I saw them like perk their heads up like, what was that? And they were like, wonder what that noise is. So I grabbed a flashlight, headed outside to look about. I looked up into the trees, and I just see these 4 eyes just staring directly at me. And I realized it's 2 owls just hanging out right there. And it's really hard to get a good look at owls because a lot of the times they're really well hidden or camouflaged, or they fly away instantaneously. But that was just such a cool experience to get to see them both right there. It's actually been a while since I last saw some owls. So yeah, that was very cool. Next question was sent in from Mary Vlogs. And Mary asked if I feel comfortable vlogging in public. Because when you travel, a lot of the times, there's a lot of people around, and if you let that get in your way of vlogging, you film nothing. See, there's different parts of my brain. There's a big part of my brain that's like, I'm just gonna vlog, do what I'm doing, I don't care what people think. Then there's this other little part that's like, oh, Atua, look at the person out of the peripheral vision in the corner of your eye that's looking at you weird. They probably think you're a crazy person. And they actually probably think it's like, well, I wonder what he's doing. Like, he must be doing something. He's talking to a camera. Like, it must be something good, cool, and awesome. So, just try to not think about it. the more you do it, the more you get used to it. And it's just something, like, over time, I've become more comfortable vlogging around other people, and it doesn't bother me anymore. But definitely when I started, it was a different story. Whew. Next question from Mike. Mike said, Atua, you always talk about tuna burgers, and how do you make a great tuna burger? So you see, the thing is I don't make tuna burgers. There is this restaurant called Foraging, and they have burgers and stuff, but they make this really good tuna burger. And pretty much every time I eat from that restaurant, I get a tuna burger. And they do delivery. So this one time, when I was out on a hike with a few good friends of mine, we were out hiking probably 30 minutes or so from the restaurant, for 30-40 minutes, but we were able to get some signal from climbing on top of the mountain. We were able to call them, see if they had delivery, and they were able to deliver some tuna burgers and food to us because we were able to find this hotel. So that's how they found the directions to where we were to give us the food. And yeah, tuna burgers, I love them. They're delicious. Okay, next up is another wild edible which I was able to find here. Now, many people know that you can eat bananas. It's pretty common sense. Buy them from the store, they're edible. But many people don't know, including myself a little while ago. I didn't know that other parts of the banana plant are actually edible. Now, let's get one thing straight. Banana plants are plants, they're not trees. Now, I'm sure if you go back, you could find a clip of me saying, oh, look, this banana tree. That was because I didn't know, but now I do know. So hopefully from now on I'll say banana plants. Because if you were to pull one of the leaves down, you'll see that it goes all the way down to the dirt. So what seems to be the stem is actually just a bunch of leaves tightly packed together. There's also this flower that grows underneath the bundle of bananas that you can also eat. And I wanted to show eating that, but none of these here have that at the moment. So in a future video, when I find one, I will taste test it, because I have not taste tested it yet. But you can also eat the core, the stem, like not the stem, but the very center of the bunch of leaves. Now the problem with eating that is you have to kill the plant. But banana plants, once they grow bananas, they die anyways. And there's this one back here that is already falling over. It's nearly totally sideways. So I'm going to use this opportunity to taste test it. Finish pulling this one down, and I will try to make my way down to the core to eat. To feast like kings!
Okay, here it goes. 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Nice one. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Now that we got the tree down, this one was already falling over and gonna die, so I'm not killing a plant that wasn't about to die anyways. Now, you don't want to eat this outer stuff. What you can do, if you want to, is you can actually use this stuff. It's pretty strong, decently, if you were to make some rope out of it. People say that you can use this to sew and tie up different things, but for this, in this particular case, we're not going to be using it. We're just trying to get to the core. Now, these plants are filled with a lot of water, so if you're in search of water, you can find banana plants. What you can do is, if you were to cut the bottom of the tree and maybe hold it above a bucket or a container or something, and you might be able to obtain some water. So you see, as I'm pulling this apart, it's not a stem, it's just a bunch of leaves. While I'm here working my way through this, I'll talk about something, and that is, you know, in the past I always felt like gear was very important. Not just film gear, but like, oh, to survive I need to have a knife and a fire starter and a pot and stuff. But the problem is what if I'm out with my backpack and then something happens and I need to use the stuff, but what if a monkey comes down and steals my equipment, my gear that was going to help me survive? Now, if I have knowledge of how to do stuff like this, then a monkey can't steal that unless they throw like a coconut at me or something. But that, I mean, if you have monkeys throwing coconuts at you, you have much bigger problems than trying to survive than worrying about food. You gotta be worrying about stuff like that. But, just saying, you can't always have survival gear with you. It's just not possible. There's times, maybe I'm surfing, I'm just not gonna be able to have that stuff with me. But I can have my knowledge with me. The lens zoomed out all the way. This is about as far as I can take apart this plant. I mean, I guess I could take it apart a smidge more, and then this is all that's left. Ugh, that is so bitter. That is just to feast like kings. To feast like kings. Okay, well that's kind of disappointing. That was a lot of hard work. It does not taste very good. Now, I'm pretty sure that I have the right plant and the right part of the plant. Now, remember I said there's a flower that I wasn't able to find? Well, I just spotted one up on that, hanging up there. Now I'm going to try to jump up and grab that, and if I can open that up and give that a taste. That's the other wild, edible part of this banana plant. Still trying to take this weird thing apart. See what's on the inside. So, from my understanding, the inner core is supposed to be edible. Supposed to be. I guess that could look like it's edible. I'm not sure. Let me see. Well, that was slightly disappointing, but, you know, the only way for me to figure out and learn that I don't really like the taste of that plant is to have gone out and found one and tasted it. So now I know, so I can put that in my memory bank for future things. But I'm going to do some more research, see if I'm supposed to cook the plant or do something with it so that it tastes much better. We'll keep searching, and I'll keep you guys posted. You know, if I know of a wild edible and I come across it, I'm going to talk about it, share what I know about it to you guys so you can maybe learn and pick up a thing or two. But if you're ever going to eat a wild edible, you need to make sure that you are for sure that that is the plant you think it is. Because, like with any plant, there's lookalikes, there's ones that could be poisonous or deadly that look similar. So before you eat a plant, do a lot of research. So I found out that plant is edible. I did a ton of research for the plant in my area. Just lots of research before you eat any plant that you find out in the woods. Another question from Surf Vlogs, De, or DE, is how often do I go surfing a week? I go surfing about 3 to 5 times a week. Try to go as often as I can, and I'm going to start doing some more surfing vlogs. Paul always sent a question about how's the internet and phone service coverage in my area. Well, more often than not, you don't have phone signal, especially if I'm out hiking. I'm in the woods, in ravines and rivers and stuff. A lot of the times I don't have internet connection, but I don't have any plans or anything on my phone. All I have is I just pay for minutes because I don't use my phone a ton. I just have a few dollars worth of minutes always on my phone. That way if I ever need to make an emergency phone call or call for tuna burgers while I'm out hiking, I have some minutes to place a call. But I don't use the phone enough for it to make sense to have like a plan where you pay to have like unlimited minutes or tons of minutes or something, because I don't use it a ton. Patrice sent in a comment right underneath the comment with make sure to put hashtag #AskAtua. So thank you for that, Patrice. That's true. If you have a question and you put hashtag #AskAtua, there's a much better chance of me being able to find it and answer it in a Q&A similar to this one. Murky Rianto is asking, how tall am I? Because in March I was about 5'9", and I just recently measured myself. I'm about, on a tall day, 5'11", other days 5'10", 5'10 and a half. In the 5'10 and so general area, somewhere around there. RP Mundo, as well as a few other people, asked, Atua, what is a room without walls? You mentioned it in one of your videos. Now, I'm going to show you what a room without walls is, or what it looks like. Okay, here are some, one second. Here are some rooms without walls. That is what I mean by a room without a wall, for anyone wondering. There's this bit of a conversation in a comment, and Ayana Vlog said, "Am I the only person sad? Am I the only sad person over the fact that Atua's voice suddenly got low as heck?" And Theodore J was like, "Sad is a state of mind. He's getting old enough to drive." That is true. That could be one day get a vehicle to take me to different places, to go on different adventures. It could be fun in the future. But then there was a few more comments, and Patrice C said, hashtag Atua quotes, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." And that's where I'm gonna wrap up this video. And what that quote means to me is, when stuff happens, like maybe you're like, oh, you're getting ready to go on this trip, and it's gonna be like a week long. And you go on the trip, and the trip's over, and it's done, and you're like, oh man, it's so sad that the trip's already over and it happened already. Or you could be like, oh, I'm so happy that that trip actually went through. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we started planning the trip and then it ended up not going through, because at that point you may have felt more like sad that you didn't get to go at all than if you went and then it's over, because at least you got the experience, maybe you took some pictures, you can look back on the trip. So it's really, like Theodore J said, it's just a mindset and the way in which you look at it. So, and then someone else, one second, let me see. And then Theodore J was like, "A deepening voice is on its way to becoming a great public speaker." Well, thank you, Theodore J, very much. That's another way you could think about my voice deepening is, I'm going from talking something like this to talking with a deeper voice. Maybe I could do some speeches and stuff like that in the future. So it really is the way you look at it. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I have some very exciting stuff planned before we leave, which is in a few days. In a few days we leave for the collab, which I'm very excited for, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. So remember to keep always doing awesome stuff. See you guys tomorrow early in the morning. Bang! Oh gosh, this sunset is looking so great. It's gonna make for a great time lapse.